This is NBC Nightly News, Friday, December 29th. Reported by John Chancellor with David Brinkley's Journal.
Good evening. In the news tonight, we'll have the first interviews with foreigners to leave Hanoi since the United States resumed its all-out bombing campaign, and we'll hear them describe what it's like to have been there. We'll have the official Defense Department explanation of damage to civilian installations in Hanoi, and we'll hear a senator from the president's own party demanding that Mr. Nixon explain the new bombing campaign. In other news, we'll have a follow-up story on the Black September Arab guerrillas in Bangkok, another look at earthquake damage in Managua, and we'll check on a new snowstorm in the western United States. First, the war. The United States announced the loss of another B-52 today over North Vietnam as the new bombing campaign went through the 11th day of intensive attacks. 3 other American planes were lost today as well. That makes 27 planes lost in the campaign, 15 of them B-52s. 76 airmen are missing, and the loss of 4 more planes added 12 more airmen to that missing list. There have been press reports from Hanoi of considerable damage to civilian installations in the city. Some Indian diplomats evacuated from Hanoi today said they had witnessed indiscriminate bombing of the city. They were interviewed as they left Hanoi aboard an aircraft of the International Control Commission. Our correspondent, Phil Brady, had flown to Hanoi on the plane, but he was not allowed to film there. But he talked with the Indians on the flight out of Hanoi, and here is his report.
Not many diplomats in Hanoi have their families with them, but those few who do are trying to leave. This group from the Indian mission left Hanoi on the first ICC plane to fly out since the bombing started again. Our NBC News team made the flight with them. Mr. Shashank is the first secretary of the Indian Embassy.
But now, the B-52s are coming very close to the city limits. I have seen the B-52 bombing about a kilometer from my residence. And I cannot say that it is a military target. It's just a civilian area. The Bach Mai Hospital, the oldest and the biggest hospital in the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, has been completely razed to the ground. And I don't know, people are saying that it has not been hit, but I have seen with my own eyes that it has been hit and directly hit.
It's been the worst experience I've ever had in my life, I think. I was very scared and I was horrified at it all. But I tried to maintain a very calm exterior for the sake of my children, because I didn't want them to be upset about it. So I made a game out of it for my children, but really I was feeling very bad about it.
How bad is the bombing?
It's awful. I think all the military targets have already been taken, and now the only thing that is left is the lives of the people, and I think they are taking that as well.
Amir Gupta's father runs India's embassy in Hanoi, which has already been hit twice by American bombs.
Oh, it's very bad. They've been coming 4 or 5 times a day, very regularly. They have 6 times for coming.
Are only military targets being hit?
No, they've got unrestricted bombing. They're bombing at every target, wherever they want to.
So most of Hanoi is beginning to go?
Yes, that's quite right.
What about the North Vietnamese? Has this slowed them down? Are they going to give in?
Well, the North Vietnamese have been fighting for 30 years. They're not discouraged at all. And they're determined to pay back whatever the Americans give them. They're just not scared. They're very determined.
And what are the Americans giving them now?
Well, they've been giving them very heavy bombing, but they've also been replying. The North Vietnamese claim to have knocked down 31 B-52s. And we, of course, the diplomatic circles, we quite think that it's around that number, not the 14 which the Americans claim, because we have seen quite a few planes, especially the big ones, go down.
As long as the bombing goes on, more diplomatic families will be making this flight. They've been scared and appalled by what they've seen. But even after leaving, it won't be easy for them to forget Hanoi or the bombing that turned that city into a nightmare. Phil Brady, NBC News, Vientiane.
At the Pentagon today, officials maintained the new policy of not commenting on the specifics of the new resumed bombing campaign, although there were signs that the bombing is as intense as ever. One official said, "We are mounting a very major effort and we are continuing at that level." And there was an official explanation for damage which may have been caused to civilian buildings in Hanoi. John Cochran has that story.
Pentagon spokesman Jerry Friedheim suggested some civilian casualties resulted when American and communist planes were hit and crashed in Hanoi. He also said some enemy missiles fell back into the city. He was asked how many civilians have been killed.
I don't have any figures on that to give you.
They just keep coming out day after day from Hanoi, from the French news agency, from neutral embassies. Why is there no information? Why can't the government give us any information on that?
Well, you'll have to judge the sources of that information, as I'm sure you all can. I don't have anything to give you here today.
Don't we have any intelligence reports on civilian casualties at all? Don't we have anything coming out of there?
I don't have anything, no.
And in any way on this report from the French press agency that a whole street has been leveled?
I have no way of knowing what that correspondent was shown, so I wouldn't try to comment on what it might have been.
He gave us the name of the street, Jerry. Do we consider that street to have been a military target? I mean, were there things on that street that were military targets?
I don't know what he's speaking of. It's not surprising to us that the North would make those kind of allegations and conduct those kind of press tours. They've done it before.
In Saigon today, American officials would not comment on reports that there would be a bombing pause over the New Year's holiday, but South Vietnamese officials are openly predicting one. South Vietnamese officials as well, quoted by the Associated Press, say President Nguyen Van Thieu has been informed that the American bombing policy calls for devastation of North Vietnam to be followed by a halt in the bombing.